India is hosting the virtual summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The summit of the SCO Council of Heads of State is being chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping and Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif among the attendees. The theme of the summit is Secure SCO, and Iran is set to join the grouping. At the summit, the Indian Prime Minister flagged the global fuel and fertilizer crisis, taking a veiled dig at Pakistan. Modi condemned nations relying on cross-border terror. The summit takes place barely 2 weeks after Prime Minister Modi was hosted by US President Joe Biden for a state visit. Israeli forces hit the city of Jenin with drone strikes on Monday in one of the biggest West Bank operations in 20 years. At least 11 Palestinians have been reportedly killed in sporadic gun battles that continued into the evening. Since the operation began, Israeli forces have targeted a joint operations center being used by the Jenin Brigade. Now, what's the Jenin Brigade? It's a diverse group of Palestinian resistance fighters. An Israeli military spokesperson has expressed that the operation would last as long as needed and suggested forces could remain for an extended period. Russia has said that Ukraine attacked Moscow with at least 5 drones that were all either shot down or jammed. Reports suggest one of the capital's main airports had to reroute flights for several hours. The Russian Defense Ministry said that 4 Ukrainian drones were shot down by Moscow's air defenses, while a 5th one was jammed and crashed into the Odintsovo district of the Moscow region. No injuries have been reported in the attack. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has appealed to international leaders to condemn the Israeli drone raids on the West Bank and protect Palestinians. Palestinian leader called Israel's military operation in West Bank a war crime that needs to be named and shamed. President Abbas has called on the international community to break its shameful silence and take serious action. Palestinian Foreign Ministry has urged the International Criminal Court to hold the Israeli war criminals accountable. President Vladimir Putin told Asian leaders at the SCO summit that the Russian people were more united than ever after the short-lived mutiny led by Wagner Group last month. Putin said the Russian people are consolidated as never before. Putin's speech on Russia's unity appeared to show how keen he is to remove any doubts about his own authority on the world stage. NATO has decided to extend Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg's contract by a further year, opting to stick with an experienced leader as war rages on the alliance's doorstep. Stoltenberg, a former Prime Minister of Norway, has been the Transatlantic Security Alliance's leader since 2014. His tenure had already been extended 3 times previously. Stoltenberg is widely seen across the alliance as a steady leader and patient consensus builder. China has said it opposes the slandering of its national security law, and Hong Kong's affairs are purely China's internal affairs which should not be interfered with by any external forces. The comments were made in response to British Foreign Minister James Cleverly's criticism of a Hong Kong police decision to issue arrest warrants for 8 overseas activists. At least 2 people were killed and 19 others were wounded in a Russian drone attack on the northern Ukrainian city of Sumy on Monday. According to the city administration, 1 official building and 2 residential buildings were damaged in an attack carried out by 4 drones. Another air raid alert was declared in the Sumy region several hours after the morning strike. Ukrainian Air Force has warned that more drone attacks could hit the region in the coming days. Around 157 people were arrested on Monday, down from 700 following 5 nights of heavy riots triggered by the police killing of a 17-year-old teenager in Paris. The relative calm offered some relief to the Emmanuel Macron government, the country's Interior Ministry had dispatched over 45,000 police personnel onto the streets each night to quell the unrest. The French Prime Minister has said that the government's priority is to restore republican order. Russian President Vladimir Putin held a meeting with the country's top election official regarding local polls scheduled for September. The head of Russia's election body has voiced that if the situation worsened in 4 Russian-controlled parts of Ukraine, local elections will be cancelled. Putin says the regions Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia and Kherson are now part of Russia after Moscow unilaterally annexed them last year. However, Ukraine claims the annexation is illegal and void. Thousands of protesters converged on Israel's Ben Gurion airport on Monday to protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan for a judicial revamp. Israeli police removed protesters from the country's main international airport during after hours of anti-government agitations. Demonstrators managed to enter the arrival hall, dancing and even showing their megaphones and screaming at them anti-government slogans. Netanyahu has defended the judicial reforms as restoring balance between the various branches of government. Four people were shot dead while 4 others were injured in a mass shooting in Philadelphia on Monday evening. Of the 4, the 2 injured have been identified as minors aged 2 and 13. The shooting spanned several blocks around the King Sessing neighborhood. While the reason behind the shooting is unknown, the suspected gunman is in custody. The suspect was arrested with an AR-style rifle, a handgun, a bulletproof vest and multiple ammunition magazines. Meanwhile, a second person was also taken into custody in connection with the shooting. It is unknown whether this person was connected to the shooter, but police say he returned fire at the shooter. Taiwan's military carried out live fire drills for a second consecutive day from its strategically located southern coast as China ramps up military pressure on self-ruled island. Artillery trainees fired Stinger missiles and operated Avenger air defense missile systems at a coastal drill zone in Pingtung County near the far southern tip of the island. Now, according to Taiwan's defense ministry, 8 Chinese aircrafts crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait early morning on Tuesday. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said Turkey will not lift its opposition to Sweden joining NATO unless it stops harboring groups it considers to be terrorists. Turkey has repeatedly said that Sweden needed to take additional steps against supporters of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party and the members of the Ankara group. However, Sweden says it has upheld its part of a deal struck with Turkey in Madrid last year aimed at addressing Ankara's security concerns. The burning of a Quran in Stockholm last week during the Eid holidays has further angered Turkey. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak welcomed Bahrain's Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa to 10 Downing Street on Monday. Following their meeting, Bahrain and the United Kingdom signed a memorandum of understanding which will see the Middle Eastern country invest over $1 billion into Britain. Sunak said the agreement marks the next chapter, the historic and close relationship between the UK and Bahrain. Iranian protesters gathered at the Swedish embassy in Tehran on Monday to demonstrate against the burning of a Quran outside a mosque in Stockholm. The demonstration took place after a man tore up and burned a Quran outside Stockholm's Central Mosque last week on Wednesday. Iran's foreign ministry has condemned the incident and said it was an insult to the most sacred Islamic sanctity. Senegalese President Macky Sall will not run for re-election in the 2024 polls. This ends widespread speculation that he would seek a third term, which his critics said would have been illegal. Rumors of Sall trying to extend his stay in power had fueled bouts of deadly unrest since 2021, in which dozens have been killed. The most recent unrest was sparked last month by the sentencing of popular opposition leader Ousmane Sonko to 2 years in jail on charges stemming from an alleged rape. Let's talk business on Speed News. S&P Global Ratings has raised and praised the strong credit position of Indian companies thanks to robust economic growth and healthy corporate balance sheets, with aggregate EBITDA projected to rise by around 50% in fiscal 2024 and stable debt levels. Credit quality has improved. S&P attributes this positive outlook to domestic demand and sectoral recovery outweighing global economic challenges. Let's talk about the effects of climate change on Speed News. Heavy rains have triggered widespread flooding in southwest China. Reports suggest that authorities dispatched rescue personnel to evacuate residents. No casualties have been reported due to the floods. China's weather agency has said that heavy rain is expected to continue in parts of southwest China. 189 rivers across the country so far have seen excessive flooding this summer. Wildfires in Canada continue to burn, sending curtains of haze on broad swathes of the country and the neighboring United States for weeks. Canadian officials say it is the nation's worst wildfire season ever, and they expect air quality to remain a concern throughout the summer. Meanwhile, NASA is reporting that smoke from wildfires in northern Quebec has reached Europe. NASA says satellite imagery showed smoke extending across the North Atlantic Ocean to the Iberian Peninsula, France, and other parts of Western Europe. Britain's National Weather Service has said that last month was the hottest June on record in Britain. Britain's Meteorological Office said the average mean temperature of 15.8 degrees Celsius in June was the highest in a series going back almost 140 years.